Hello, everyone. It's another night. It's another fully packed arena here of Kartrider fans. KDL is back. We're here, myself, Wolf, and Peter tonight to bring you guys some of the last matches of our team league here, and of course the winners final for solo to find out which 4 players are going to automatically qualify for the finals.
Yeah, we've done so much so far, and we're finally getting to the final stages where we start to finally lock in the placements of everyone, and especially the solo matches, it's going to be really exciting today.
It really is. I mean, we do have, so far, statistically speaking, the best 8 players here in this tournament in solo matches coming at you guys today. Talking about the overview of the tournament, of course, we are getting towards postseason, but we're not there yet. Of course, May 3rd will be the final match of our team matches. Then we'll move into postseason on the 6th and 7th. You'll see it's a double elimination format there. This, of course, leads into the finals. You can see the prize pool there on the right.
Yep, there's a lot of prize pool for everyone to make sure that, of course, you have some motivation for your standing. As we take a look at so far, we know KWANGDONGFREECS, the undefeatable king so far, standing in that first place firmly. Live Sandbox following them behind, only with 1 more loss. And now it's just Rox and Aura really trying to finalize their 3-4 positions.
Exactly. Aura will be playing later on today against Reboot, so they're both competing for those spots. So for Reboot, really important for them to get that win tonight. It would be an upset, I think, if they take it, but that really would shake up our final qualification here. We do have Sensation playing their final matchup of the evening, as you can see here. Final matchup of the tournament, because they are eliminated from postseason. So 1 final match for them. And Planet, still in the running. Very difficult, though, for them to make it through. They're sitting at a 1-4, but they still have 2 matches left to play. If they beat Sensation and one of their direct competitors in Reboot in their final matchup, they could, it's not completely up to them, but they could qualify for postseason.
Planet, they definitely need 2 consecutive wins secured if they even want to have a chance to make it through. And of course, we have our highly coveted round of 16 winners match. And as you take a look at the names, my goodness, Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, the stacked lineup we have of all the players who did qualify. And we'll be talking about that in the second part of our broadcast. Let's go ahead and welcome Planet to the stage here. You look at this matchup in the schedule before the season started, you would have said, oh man, big underdog going up against Sensation here. But today, I'd say they're slightly favored. And I think that this team really wants this win. It means a lot more to them in terms of results here for them to take this win. And Sensation is really just playing spoiler for this squad tonight.
Yep, they're on a 3-loss streak right now, so today they definitely need to turn things around if they want to have a chance to make it to the postseason. And so far, I definitely feel like Planet, we have seen some potential in them, and hopefully that potential actually exists.
Yeah, this is Sensation now coming out, a team. It is a 4-man roster, but a roster filled with veterans and very strong players. Like Hojun, of course, leading the charge here.
Oh, my.
Oh, combing it back. We've all seen these, and we've got the very cool glasses. I don't know what the term for these glasses are, but I do have a pair myself at home. I like to call them the meme glasses, but don't really know what they're actually called. But yeah, coming out in style for their final match tonight. I want to give a good showing for the fans. I think definitely disappointed with their season,
right,
but it's not something that's going to get them down. This is just our first preseason here for KDL.
Yeah, so Sensation, they definitely pretty much have given up hopes on making it to the postseason at this point. So now it's all about fan service and showing up. They want to at least not go home with more losses in their pocket. They want to show that they were actually a team that could have made it into the top 4.
Yeah. As you can see, there's still a chance for a postseason slot. Only a winning streak can keep their hopes alive. But to be clear, as we mentioned before, winning back-to-back against Sensation and Reboot does not guarantee them a postseason spot. So like the thing there says at the top, it's the hope that you get. If you lose either of these and your chances drop to 0. Sensation, thank you for your hard work this season.
Wolf, we were talking about this earlier, that it could be a respectful thing, but it also could be like a bit of a diss, because Planet is basically saying, Sensation, you did good work, but also that means this is it for Sensation.
Yeah.
They're out.
They are. And, it's the story of Sensation, I think, was a team that really vastly underperformed expectations, but a team that definitely can bounce back if they can qualify for next season. As take a look at some of these stats here, you see, I think higher than you would expect if you look at just the team's 1-5 record, because this team has been to 4 ace matches in a parallel universe where they actually won 3 of those ace matches that they lost. But it really just comes down to that final match. Then they actually are sitting at 4 wins, right, at the end of the season and 1 loss. And you're looking at it and going, well, okay, maybe this team was actually so close to being one of our top 3 teams, but that's just not how it turned out this season.
And if they want to prove that they actually had the chance, if the ace matches went better for them to be in the top 4, today is a day they definitely don't want to lose against Planet today, as they had the same exact message for Planet. Pretty much good work this season, while Planet actually has some potential ahead. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of there's a double meaning there in this one, because it's like, hey, you guys also did a great job this season, but I'm saying your season ends here because we're going to win our final match. Seems implied. So let's take a look at our track list here. We are headed to New York Rally as our first round, actually. So not going to be going to Terracotta Twister. We'll be ending with that one. In between, Sensation has chosen Rickety Rails and Winding Slopes, and we will hit Bayside Bridge Run for round 3. So pretty standard track list here for our speed matchup.
Extremely standard given its Planet, because Planet, out of the 5 matches they played so far, in 3 of them, they always first pick New York Rally. So they're putting a lot of emphasis on this track. However, out of the 3 matches they played, they lost twice and won only once. So hopefully today they're able to show why they keep picking New York Rally as their favorite track.
Yeah, they have faced some really tough opponents too, you know, up until now. I feel like they have an easier round out to the end of the season in terms of strength of schedule.
Yeah, and we have a fan coming all the way from Taiwan. Global fans coming in.
Yeah, awesome to see. Fans from all around the world, and the Sensation fan here as well. It's very common to show all of your tickets and prove how loyal of a fan you are here in Korean esports. But it's time to jump into our first track of this matchup, Planet versus Sensation, starting off on New York Rally. Off we go here in our first track of speed. Great lead for Sensation, actually, already holding up the top 4 spots. A massive start.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. This is going to set up that 1, 2 potentially for speed and percent. And we talked about this being a track that Planet constantly picks, so they definitely got to show up right now. Mari being the only one to try to get into the top 4.
Yeah, one of the frustrating parts about having a bad start like this on your track selection is that you don't get to play the track according to your plan. You now have to play on the offensive, not the defensive, and a rough start like this is definitely going to hurt their chances, as we might not really even see that plan, as Acidfly is trying his best to try to break into top 4 here, but even he is struggling alone.
Yep. He finally managed to pass guard, and here comes Scarlet now, also trying to pass by, but that 1, 2, 3 is still being held really strongly. Hojin now falling behind a bit to try to block out the members of Planet.
Yeah, 1 and 2 here, well and truly locked up at this moment in time as Acidfly continues to try to break through. He's actually playing this very close, and now Speed and Percent need to work together here. They actually just try to race for first here and not play defensively, then Acidfly could break into top 2. The problem is that 6, 7, and 8 is where the rest of Planet is right now, so it's a team effort. Everybody actually needs to be pushing through a little bit harder here right now and taking some of these tighter turns. This is a 1-lap track as, okay, Acidfly trying to close the gap here in our final stretch.
Yep. Acidfly trying to get the draft range, but Speed is doing so many different directional cuts, and it's making it not really possible. Acidfly finally did make it into that top 2. However, 5, 6, 8 for Planet is not going to be enough. Sensation takes a huge victory.
Yeah, a massive win here. And as you said, getting 1 into the top 2 isn't alone going to be enough. It was really, it felt like Acidfly against the world, a 1v4, because the rest of his team just wasn't able to keep up. And I think Unseen, we didn't have it on our screens, of course, but the job that we saw from Guard, who does play the sweeper role quite well when he's put in this position. He doesn't always do it, but when he's in this position, he does it incredibly well. I think some of that talent from him unseen here, but I think this was not just a story of, okay, Planet just didn't race well. I think Guard did a good job off screen. I think Hojun also causing some disruption back there. But heroic effort from Acidfly nonetheless, and when you have a rough start off of the gate like that, it's going to be hard to catch up, unfortunately, and that's what we saw there.
Yeah, I mean, once that 1, 2, 3, 4 was being held by Sensation in the early game, right? Usually you see that being broken up by the teams fairly fast, but this time around it felt like they were maintaining that for almost a third of the whole track, and that was really devastating. We definitely can't see that happen again, and this is what we're talking about in the replay.
Exactly. When you have this much of a dominant start, it allows players like Hojin and Guard to actually do exactly what they want, and 2 players against 4 allows you to just basically cut them off while allowing a wider gap for those top 2. So it makes even Acid Fly's life harder, even though he was able to make that final push and end up getting top 2. The rest of the team wasn't able to pull the weight, and again, a lot of the heroics from Hojin and Guard unseen, but if you watch Cartwrighter enough, you know that they did a great job sweeping and preventing those approaches.
Right. And we have fans of Planet coming in, cheering on Mari, Acid Fly, and Lens. Hopefully Planet will be able to find a way to take another punch back at Sensation in their own track of choice, Mine Rickety Rails. Off we go into track number 2. We are still in the speed mode. Sensation once again leading out in a pretty dominant fashion.
Really nice cut to the right there from Guard right off the start, actually blocking the approach there, kind of trying to say, if you take a wider path, you're going to lose speed. If you collide with me, the rest of my team pushes to the left. And the starting blocks here again for Sensation, both times really well played. And despite Guard actually looking for that aggressive push, he still maintains a top 2 spot here. And once again, we have a dominant lead here for Sensation. Not the 1, 2, 3, 4 this time around, but still having those top 3 spots is going to be massive for them. Now, this is not something they could necessarily hold on to forever on this 3-lap track, as Acid Fly once again is making some aggressive plays.
Right, and we have Percent drifting really close behind Acid Fly in order to go for the collisions when needed to try to throw off the members of Planet. Right now, still that 1-2 being held for Sensation. Now we see Guard just blocking out Acid Fly so beautifully. That's going to set him back all the way to 6th place.
Yeah, and you can see Percent also creating a lot of problems back here too. Almost falling off the track there, but continuing to be an aggressive nuisance here. And when you look for these narrow drifts and you're trying to close the gap here on the Planet players here, if you collide into them, that's great for you because you're slowing them down. If you don't, you're just going to potentially pass them, and you can take these risky calls. And that's why right now Sensation have just such a dominant lead.
Yeah, Guard with a beautiful block on Mari was able to send back Mari so far. Now Scarlet, he falls off the map.
Oh man. Like,
that was so big. Minsick now.
Minsick also with a big error here, trying to take that narrow turn on the inner is going to fail. And once again, Acid Fly, man, 1v4. He's trying his best, but the gap is just way too wide. It's going to be a 1-2 finish here for Sensation. A 2-0 lead here. And Scarlet may even retire this race. Will intentionally retire just from watching on screen. Does actually have the retiree, so don't be misled when you see the finishing screen. He actually could have finished the track if he wanted to, but he intentionally did retire there because it doesn't matter ultimately in team speed when the match is over with a 1-2. But yeah, very much a dominant start here for Sensation. It's the beginning of the tracks that have caused the biggest problem, I think, here for Planet. And taking those risky moves like we saw Scarlet do there, or what you have to do to come back. Like, he looks silly when you see him falling off the side there and getting collided with it. The block was insane. He gets pushed off, but like, he's put in that position because they're behind and they have to take risks. But good defensive play once again is just going to push them back. And Sensation in a pretty dominant control of this series so far.
Guard and Perfect, they are just so good at sweeping so far. All they have to do is see that Hojin and Speeder in the lead in that 1-2, and they know they can go for the craziest blocks, take whatever risks they need in order to create those collisions, and my, did it really pay off here in track number 2. We've seen so many different, you want to say like, falling off the map or complete collision into the wall that makes you lose all your speed. That's essentially the best type of sweeping you can do in kart.
Oh my god. And watching this again, you see Percent just absolutely executing him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect word.
It's insane because he's taking that angle because he wants to try to close the gap, but you could see he was the only real threat besides Acid Fly. And Percent just says, no, sorry, I'm a sweeper, I'm going to knock you off. And right now it looks like we may have a very one-sided affair on our hands in terms of speed. We'll see if Planet can bounce back here. If not, Sensation on Bayside's grid run may take the 3-0. one last chance for Planet here in speed. They could bounce back in a big way in item mode, a mode that Sensation hasn't been known for, but you know, it's not the position you want to find yourself in here as Sensation lead 2-0.
Yeah, this is the track of choice for Planet, so hopefully they're able to get that bounce back on this match. As we see, a lot better positions, we must say, for Planet this time around. They're holding that 2-3.
This is the best start they've had of this series so far. Speed actually maintaining that first place spot, but now for the first time, Percent and Hojun, rather than defensively, will have to play aggressively. As you see, Percent's actually trying to take the wide outer here to avoid some collisions and get through. Unfortunately, unsuccessful here. Great sweeping from Acid Fly. He's normally not in the back of the pack actually doing that role, but in this particular case, he's doing a great job, and this puts Scarlet and Mari in the 1-2 lead that they need.
Right. And we see everyone just bunched up right now. Hojun took that bit of an outer line, but he instantly came back in. And Scarlet, he hit the wall quite hard, but somehow he didn't get sent back too far. Now, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Planet. This is not looking good.
Yeah, when you have that much speed at the end of the lap here on this track, those turns actually can really hit you. I wouldn't call them hairpins, but there's a little bit of a zigzag there. And you could go as the crow flies, or you could try to get more boost. And they played it greedy, and that one collision turns the whole game around. Now Hojun and Guard are massively ahead.
Right, so they're in that 1-2 position right now, and there's 3, 4, 5 for Planet. And what's interesting is Guard is not playing any sweeping, so it's all up to Scarlet and Acid Fly to get the drafts off each other and try to get the better lines to break that 1-2, because otherwise they're not going to be able to win.
Yeah. About 15 seconds away here from the end of this track as Minshik is trying his best, but Guard is just playing so great defensively. Now here's that final turn we were talking about. Things get very, very intense here in these final moments.
Oh, he couldn't break that 1-2 from Sensation. And another win going over to Sensation, 3-0. This team looks unstoppable today in speed mode.
Oh yeah, they look very good, and it's unfortunate they weren't able to turn this energy on more consistently throughout the regular season, because if we could see performances like this all season long, maybe this team would not be eliminated at this current stage. The thing is, even if Minsick actually gets the pass there, they still have a 1-3-4 win condition as well. Like, the rest of the team just wasn't able to keep up. Well, the Acid Fly played very well defensively for the first time this series too. It just ultimately wasn't enough, unfortunately. And Sensation, as mentioned, will take this 3-0. Now, this is just speed, and we have seen Sensation have a lot of success on speed, fail in item, then go to those coveted ace matches that we always like to see here at KDL. We could see that again tonight, so don't count them out just yet, Planet. They could definitely bounce back, because now Lens, the item ace, is going to be subbed in.
For sure, statistically speaking, Planet, this is where they're supposed to shine in the item mode. And if we end up going to that ace match, what's funny is that both teams have suffered a lot of losses so far in the ace matches, so it's going to be a loss streak broken for one of the teams. But of course, we need to see the item mode come back first in order to even get to that point.
Yeah. And with how much variance you can see in this volatile mode that is item mode, and sometimes it's down to what items you get, you know, it's not always completely in your control. Feels terrible as Lens to have all this pressure now. You have to perform. Let's take a look at the track list as we're going to Gangnam Streets. Polar Halfpipe picked first by Planet. That one's left open, very often banned. They pick it early here. Then we go to London Night, Icebreaker Pass, and Istanbul Street Plaza. But really interesting, they prioritize that very heavily, which means I think they have a plan here. You know, we often see that jump at the end of the track as a really nice place where you can make those plays. Len's very good at this with the magnet combo there.
Right.
It's called a magnet rush. So I'm excited to see what Planet's got in store for us here.
Or maybe they just like the glacier tracks.
Yeah, maybe.
I like the winter theme as well, and that was a really sick cheerful for Minsick.
Yeah, definitely.
Cute little thumbs up for our player Guard. Guard has been doing so fantastic so far, and I'm really curious to see if he can continue on that streak here in the item mode as we get ready to enter World Tour Gangnam Streets.
Off we go, Planet. Putting in the item ace, Sensation, a 4-man roster. Just going to be sticking with what they brought to the table here. And we will see Guard. This is what Guard loves to do, is grab the 8th place item box. He will only come up with a water balloon, which doesn't get a whole lot of value here off that first proc this time around. So no magnet pickup, no UFO.
Acid Fly with the water balloon. Oh, no one. So far, 2 and a miss.
Yeah, one will connect on the Minsig. It looks like they're right afterwards, but otherwise hasn't been a whole lot of value. See the missile going to connect here, but Ho-Chun comfortably in first right now. We got to keep an item inventory check here as one early Storm Cloud going to come out here as well. The Lightning much more impactful later on.
Another one.
Okay, well, this is going to start to stack up.
Yeah, when we see the Water Whisk coming in, I feel like Speed has been getting relentlessly targeted by all these attacks, which is why we see him all the way in 7th to 6th place. We see Sensation members leading out in that 1-2, but it doesn't really matter too much right now. We can see the plan for Sensation is picking up more Angels because they don't have a single one so far.
Now, a lot of Magnets are picked up. Scarlet, the only one who has the Magnet Rush combo right now, and he's hot on the heels here of Percent. UFO is going to come through. It's going to allow Scarlet to take a nice lead here. Those he and Lens are hugging the right side here to avoid any potential water balloons. Speaking of, and that's a big one. Look at the lead Scarlet has now with this combo. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to pass him. Guard here may have to aggressively Magnet early. I mean, we're still on the second lap, so there's a lot of race left to play here. Okay, that's going to really hurt things here, though. That's going to change things up.
The missile completely stopping all momentum. Now Lens misses an item box as well. Not looking good for Planet as a Water Whisk comes out. Now we have Scarlet. He's got a Magnet to use on guard.
Yeah, Lens using his Magnet here early as well, trying to actually push forward. Now with that Angel here, Scarlet coming through with the Magnet too. But they don't have the big combo here, and with 2 players to block out, it's really easy for Percent to actually just tank that. They're actually now up here with 3 players in the top 4. Sensation in a fantastic position here.
Yeah, that's
Minsig, it's all on him. Here's the Angel, and the Magnet's coming out. Barricade not going to block him, but he doesn't get the momentum he needs. It's not enough.
Speeding up right now. He has a EMP wave as well as a booster.
Oh, the dodge! The dodge! Sick!
Minsig knew exactly what to do, and the Angel blocks at the Water Whisk. Now Minsig looking for the Magnet on him. Now it's Scarlet in the front.
Yeah, it's going to be it. Scarlet's going to take it. Minsig there on the side as well in full control. I misspoke. I thought Minsig used his Magnet earlier. He didn't. He was still holding on to it. But that dodge on the Water Bomb was actually really quite clutch. And then he and Scarlet were able to push through in those final moments with the Angel combo there. I think, though, if that Water Bomb connects, everything is, like, the whole entire strategy falls apart because you have to Magnet earlier, you don't have that synergy, you don't have the lead with multiple players there that you need. And sorry for the misspeak, I actually thought the Magnet was used for Minsig early, but he was holding on to it. In fact, it did use it at the final stretch there. So impressive win here from Planet, and maybe history repeats itself again. We see Sensation fall in item mode. Still early to tell here, we're on our first track only. But I'm starting to see I mean, I'm not even saying I'm starting to see a trend. The trend is continuing. We know there is a trend.
We actually talked about this before, Wolf. We were like, this match, we're likely going to see an ace match. Sensation wins speed mode, Planet wins item mode, and so far it is going according to plan as we take a look at some of these water bombs. They've been sick this game.
Yeah, look at the blocks here as well. Even with UFO coming through on the Scarlet, Minsig is there as well. The timing of the UFO is really good to try to actually get that extra final momentum, but unfortunately not enough.
Look at that. A cheerful coming in for Sensation. It's kind of hard to see, though. The lighting is a bit off.
Never want to be a camera guy filming on an LCD screen. It's like, it's not what you want. Like, it's not the camera guy's fault. It's just really hard, okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's move into Glacier Polar Half-Pipe. This is Planet's track pick, so we'll see what they've got planned here for this one.
We begin our track number 2 of item mode. Planet up 1-0 up against Sensation.
Notice how Guard goes back to pull for the item. He stays back and then takes a cut to the left so he doesn't lose any speed while cutting through the items to get double. You never want to sit on top of an item box, wait for respawn. You want to cut right like that so you get the double. That's a little small thing you could bring into your own kart rider play. Is Minsig in the lead right now as a Storm Cloud will be used early here. It's going to actually pull Speed's lead into a wider one.
Yeah, and that Lightning completely stopping all momentum for Planet. Now they have 3 members all the way in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Sensation. Now we see Speed slowing down forward, a double item grab.
Would also not recommend trying to emulate all aspects of pro item play in your own games at home, unless you're playing with your friends, because the communication here is paramount. And a lot of the time you see intentional slowing down to try to get better items. Oh, just the edge going to clip Scarlet.
Yeah, Scarlet was aware of that one and tried to dodge, but as you said, just the edge was able to clip him. Now Guard getting hit by a missile. We see that momentum coming back for Planet now.
Yeah, Percent will have to use a shield here to avoid that missile, and now is still holding onto the UFO, but isn't going to be able to keep that first place spot for much longer. Just trying to sweep, which is quite rare actually to see this type of play in item mode when we don't have any offensive items. So all you can hope for is now Hojin and Percent taking a big lead here. Magnet and UFO EMP held here for Hojin, so he's got that defensive option.
Right. One interesting thing right now is that Planet has 2 Angels. Sensation, finally they picked up their first Angel going into this 3rd track. So given that Sensation doesn't have too many Angels, offensive items does have a good use right now.
Yeah, so Scarlet's just going to be doing exactly this, sweeping left and right while going on the edge of this half pipe to avoid the water bombs, which are so incredibly strong on this map. He still holds the Magnet boost combo. So this is where things are going to get really scary, even if he's passed. As the final jump comes through,
Scarlet, he used that boost to try to get ahead on top of the map, but he didn't get there. So now we have every single players on the bottom track, and we see the UFO being popped.
Yeah, Sensation just outnumbered here. Scarlet could just hold this Magnet for Guard in the last 300 meters. There's the Angel to protect. Here comes the Magnet. Guard pulled back, but
Scarlet, Speed! My goodness, they were so close, but it was Speed taking the outer line onto the left side, and he was able to close out a sick win for Sensation.
Yeah, well-deserved here from Speed. Very close, though, because Scarlet had everything set the way he wanted. Void's the first water balloon. Second one is absorbed, of course, with all the extra aggression coming through by the Angel. And he's got the Magnet set on Hojo. He's going to pull him back, but Speed just sneaks through in the final moments. We'll probably see a replay of this because look at how close it was in terms of the times here between these 2 players. Insanity.
Right? And that was a really heroic play coming out from Speed because there was 2-3-4 for Planet, showing if Speed wasn't there for Sensation, his whole team was falling behind. So a very clutch win, now tying up the score 1-1.
Yeah. And suddenly things get very tense here for Planet. You know, losing on their track choice. We saw pretty much standard strategy, right, from them on that half pipe. Like, it wasn't actually a specific new or cool strategy. They just picked half pipe and played it standard. Wasn't enough. So now things get a little bit more tense as we move to World Tour London night to find out which one of these teams is going to take the lead. We are tied up 1 apiece between Planet and Sensation here. Sensation, of course, ahead in the series, but Planet could tie things up.
I like the items picked up by Gardner. He got a Lightning and the Angel, which is pretty good even in the first lap. And now we see Minsik leading out for Planet so far. He's only got an Angel.
Yeah, huge collision there, but still lap 1, so it won't end up being ultimately too important as we are just firing off items.
Guard.
Yeah, Guard has been taking some abuse this one.
But he managed to catch up. Now it's Hojin all the way in the back. Percent getting booped off by that missile. Now we have 4 members of Planet being very strong in the lead for this first lap.
Yeah, Percent actually having a rough time. Actually held the Magnet early, so I was like, okay, he's in the lead. He has a Magnet early, but gets hit by the missile. Is forced to Magnet and shield. The Magnet is blocked really well by the enemy team, and he actually gets pulled into the wall. So really stuck back in bottom 3 now. Even having a Magnet early, has to use it, doesn't get any value out of it.
Right, and we see the Water Wisp coming out. It is going to connect onto Acid Fly, giving Speed a little bit of that advantage he needs. He's got a shield, which is the ideal item you want to have in the first place. You want to cycle through the shields in the first 2 laps. It's not as useful as the Angel in the final lap.
Yeah, definitely Angel way more value, especially if you're not the front runner. And Speed is going to actually just eat this UFO. Unfortunately, he doesn't have an EMP at the ready. And you look through the list of items here, we do have 2 players on Sensation with the Magnet Rush combo. So this is where things can get very scary here for Planet. Of course, as we move into the final lap here, Angel popped here for Planet as they push over this gap.
You can see the players, they're not really speeding up right now. They're saving up because you don't want to go too fast too early and get a Magnet on you. But this is where now things are going to shake up.
Acid Fly.
Acid Fly.
He's pushing.
He's going for it right now with Percent. It is for that 1 spot, and it's Acid Fly who comes out ahead, locking in yet another good victory for his team.
Acid Fly has been such a critical part of this roster. Even though Lens has really been the standout and has had some of the flashier plays, I think Acid Fly has been just so consistent. He's been the best player for them in speed. He's been really consistent in item mode, and he has been the ace player. He's failed twice in ace matches, but maybe today, third time's the charm, because they need him so desperately right now. But his timing there with the magnet to come through and the angle he took to actually just push straight through everybody while then saving the nitro for that final moment was quite brilliant. Has that final corner to go around. You could block out and prevent the second place player there from actually passing him. I can't recall which player he passed the last possible second, but he did do some great blocking there as he went around that corner. Acid Fly clean.
Yeah, Acid Fly, the speed ace for his team Planet, definitely showing up today so far. And there was definitely some concern when Sensation won track number 2 of item mode, because Sensation did finally win item set last time around, so it could have been their chance to shake things up, and they still have that chance right now as we get into Glacier Icebreaker Pass. Off we go into track number 4. This is Planet's pick, so if Planet is able to take another win, this is match point for them.
Yep. Really, really massive. As double magnet actually picked up here for guard, and that's part of why you play back like this. You look for these high-tier items from the later places early when you're still not that far away from the pack. So he can use one of these early, as you see here. Now he's got Magnet Rush in lap 1. Now, ultimately, you want to be able to maintain a top 3 spot while you're holding this Magnet Rush, and you're set to go to end the map. Like, this is amazing for guard. This is exactly what you want, but it doesn't always play out that way. There's a lot of aggressive items are now going to be targeted towards him. Everyone can see that he's holding this, so he is going to be the main focus here for Planet. He still maintains that first place spot.
Definitely guard still staying really strong up there, and he's not changing up his items, just holding on to the Magnet Rush combo so far. And we might see him use it here. No, he's still holding on to it. He's actually just going to fall all the way back to the 8th place and keep that trusty item combo. Yeah,
he's going to call for his team to use some aggressive items as well and try to force things like this water balloon just used by Hojun, which doesn't connect. You can see it almost did there. But he's not going to look for the target. He doesn't get the targets he was looking for. You do see a UFO also blown here early in lap 2 onto Lens. This is just a battle right now for control here of these first few places.
Wow.
No one else has that Magnet Rush besides Guard, who still fights his way back through with some aggressive items here. And Sensation looking really good right now, as Hojun does have a UFO he can hold, but that might ultimately not be enough.
Right. Earlier, a water bomb was able to set behind the members of Planet quite a bit, as we saw the members of Sensation speeding past it, utilizing Angel, but so far Planet was able to make a comeback. We see a lot of magnets across the board. There's only one.
He's blocking here, and now, I mean, now is the time to start cycling your Angels here. I think if you're Planet, that's your game plan, because you can't block Guard necessarily forever. They're trying their best to. Great target onto Guard. That's massive here as we get to the end of this third lap.
Yeah.
He's super far back.
That's going to pop the magnet out of Guard, now coming in all the way into first place. He does have a shield and a booster, but now it's Guard and Speed holding that 1-2. Water bomb!
The water bomb was massive, and Planet is going to take it and bring us to an ace match. What a sick water bomb coming through. You called it. You saw it coming in. Does it look doomed? Guard had so much momentum. He got the full value out of the magnet, the exact sweet spot distance going straight forward through that tunnel. But that's also where, ironically, to his demise, you're most vulnerable to a water bomb coming through. That was sick. The timing of that was amazing.
Just the most picture-perfect water bomb that we could always talk about. You know, we talk about the final lap right before the finish line. You landed on the crucial members of your opponent. And that's exactly what Planet did. And what a, honestly, this might be the most clutch moment I've seen in item mode so far.
It's certainly up there for me. And we have seen some really good plays. We've seen clutch plays from Lens. We've seen Banana have amazing item mode plays. Plansy's shown up, right? He's had his time in the sun, but that was certainly a sick play. We'll probably get a replay of this final moment here because it was just so insane, the timing of this. Watch this as we go in here. Boom.
This was the second lap where a lot of momentum was bought for Sensation, but that water bomb there, locking out the 2 members of Sensation that were in the front.
Yeah.
That's just GG, game over.
I actually thought the second replay we had was going to be it, but that was the previous water bomb that was used on the second lap. And I'm sad that I messed that up because I really wanted to see if they had another Angel there. I think they blew their Angel right before this to actually give Guard the opportunity to actually force his way through like that, because you're very vulnerable in that moment. But the timing as the Angel expired was so perfect, because if you have Angel up, you just push through the water bomb, it doesn't matter. You win the race, as Guard was looking to do. I think Sensation massively improved today, though, in terms of how they performed in item compared to what you expect. But Desert Construction Chaos is going to be our track for Ace mode here, or for the Ace match, excuse me. And there's a lot of questions about who is potentially going to come out here. I think if I'm Planet right now, you don't change anything up. You've got to play Acid Fly. You've got to play Acid Fly. And
they agree.
But Percent is actually going to be the one that comes out here on the side of Sensation, and it'll be his first time.
I wasn't expecting that coming from Sensation. I thought they might send Hojin out again because, after all, he is the long-standing Emperor, but it seems for Sensation, the match results don't matter too much for them because they're already disqualified from having a chance to go to postseason. So maybe they just wanted to let more members have a chance to show their skills in the Ace match. Yeah.
I think given his personality, his play style, how this guy has come in today, how he's dressed, how he's looking, he's ready to put on a show. And right now, this is it. Acid Fly has failed twice in Ace matches. This one is the most important. He needs to win this for his team to keep their postseason chances alive as we move into Construction Chaos. Off we go. Percent playing for the show. For Acid Fly, this is his team's tournament life on the line, essentially. Winning this alone won't guarantee them postseason, but this is going to be now the 5th Ace match here for Sensation in a row. Acid Fly's 3rd. An incredible chance for him to redeem himself after failing against Jung, failing against Sungbin earlier this season.
Yeah, Percent, he was about to get a really big momentum boost, but he crashed into the wall right as he boosted forward, so that gave enough time for now Acid Fly to come back. But of course our players are still within the draft range of each other, no one making a huge mistake yet.
Percent is going to be the one who has to take a risk, though, here, as he is looking for these inners here. Nice boot there from Acid, but he's still going to maintain that positional advantage now with those early inner cuts he took, as we're still in the first lap here, but Percent is just playing this better right now. And now Acid Fly has a bit of a dip here in terms of his nitro control. It's very slight, but he is a little bit behind here.
As we see right now, Percent with a huge lead. That boop earlier into Acid Fly really set him back so far, but Acid Fly now he's able to hopefully find the draft range. Yep, he does it in the second lap. This is where he might want to go for it.
That was really aggressive there from Acid as well. Not only looking for the cross there, but a potential knock into the wall. That collision could have really set Percent back and basically ended the race, but Percent's able to survive it and avoid it, and we are neck and neck. It does not get much closer than this.
Yeah, it keeps swapping back 1 and 2. The drafts being exchanged. Now Percent is in the lead. As we see the players, they're both taking the same exact lines so far. So Percent, he's not going to fall behind unless he makes a mistake.
The Acid Fly here needs to start taking some more aggressive inners. A collision there onto Percent. Percent just blocking him out here completely as we're getting close to these final corners here. So close right now, but Acid Fly needs to close that distance. He does not want to go down 3 Ace matches in a row.
Yeah, Acid Fly tried to find that aggressive inner, but Percent was able to find an excellent block, still maintaining that lead once again. He constantly blocks.
So clean here from Percent, playing with no fear tonight in the final match here for Sensation. And Acid Fly, it looks like he's just been blocked out here. There's no tighter turn you could take. He's looking for it, but it's just not enough.
Percent, what a calculated play, just perfectly coming in at every moment with the blocks and matching the beautiful lines, and you can see how happy he is to bring that final, once again, a win now for the Ace match for Sensation. Much needed because they've already lost so many.
And they've played so many different players, of course, in these Ace matches. It hasn't always been Hojun who's come through. Hojun's been the only one to find success, though, against Hero in that match against Aura early on in the season. But this time we have Percent coming out, and he comes up big. And I gotta say, Acid Fly playing with some nerves here, I think. You know, I think that wasn't his best. And when you've already gone down to Sungbin, you've gone down to Jung yourself, you know, you're playing for the third time now in an ace match, but this time it's critical. You have to win or your team is not going to postseason. And unfortunately, it wasn't able to do it. I mean, the team doesn't seem too disappointed here. I think there's a lot of pressure on these players. There's no pressure on Sensation. There's no pressure on Percent. He's never been pushed into this place before for ace match, but win or lose, it doesn't matter for Sensation, and he played like a champ. And Sensation will take their second victory of the tournament, putting them at a final score of 2-5.
What a crazy matchup we've had today between Sensation and Planet. The set scores went pretty much how we would have expected it to be, but the actual match that it took to get to these scores were such a fabulous thing to watch. And I can't believe already how much exciting Kartrider Drift action we've had on our very first team match of the day.
Yeah, it was a really good one. If you're a Planet fan, you're pretty frustrated with the result, of course, as you know, this means that you're not going to playoffs. You're not going to have that double elimination bracket you could fight through to maybe make that upset run to the finals and compete against the likes of players on the teams of Live Sandbox, KWANGDONGFREECS, you know, fight Insu in a critical match on that playoff stage. But played a good series tonight. The item mode is really where they made their big debut, I'd say, in this series, because speed was quite one-sided, right, as we expected.
Right.
But I think that we found through this preseason of KDL that everybody puts their focus on speed, right? That's definitely where everyone's focus is. But you need to be good at all aspects of the game, and teams like Sensation, teams like Rocks, who have really struggled in item in particular, how can they push themselves up to the next level of teams like KWANGDONG, Live Sandbox, Aura? You know, that's the question they're going to have to take and answer, I think, for Sensation in particular. If they stay together, try to qualify for our next preseason, some changes will have to be made, some adjustments, let's say, because there are multiple facets to Kartrider. I think a lot of people think speed is the more skill-based one, right? It's the one you're more familiar with. If you're a pro gamer and you play a lot of solos, you're competing in both the team league and the solo matches, your focus is going to be on speed, right? But there has to be some time set aside for, if you're on a team that has a coach, if you're fortunate enough to have one, the coaching staff, to make sure the strategy's coming through, or you have to sit down as a four-man roster as Sensation and really put that to the test, because they were able to ultimately win the ace match this time, but they failed more often than not this season, which is why, unfortunately, they will not be going to postseason.
Right, so the win from Percent in today's ace match finally ended their 3-loss streak in their ace matches so far. And for Planet, on the other hand, they've had 3 ace match losses counting today, and all 3 of them were played by AcidFly. So you have to be a bit worried for AcidFly in terms of his confidence coming in as the speed ace representing his team. So far, he just hasn't been able to find that success.
A lot of the way that you win an ace match often comes down to extremely solid and confident play. And I put the emphasis on confident because if you mess up one time trying to take an aggressive inner to actually cut that distance, quite literally cutting corners, like this term comes from racing.
Right.
If you try to cut a corner too aggressively because you're behind and you collide with the wall there, it's done. Like, it's over. Your team's lost. Like, you have 3, 4 players, you know, if you're a 5-man roster, who will all be taking the L with you because you made that one over-aggressive call. We've seen it. We saw it happen to Neil just last week. So it happens to even the best players in the world. But if you're not confident enough to take that risk because you're worried about the pressure and everything's mounting up, then sometimes you will just be riding in second the entire ace match. I'd say that the final lap of that ace match felt that way. I'd say the early lap, not so much, but still a kind of one-sided affair there. And SFI wasn't able to turn it on when it mattered the most. And that's kind of what ace match is all about. Like, can you actually catch the guy? Can you take greater risks? You very rarely see the player who's in first place take insane risks to widen the lead, because the chances of like what you can gain from that versus the loss is like, it's not a smart play to actually continue to take risks. We have seen it, but it can backfire. Fortunately, AcidFly wasn't able to do it today. I think he's a great player. I've been following him a lot. I think he's going to bounce back in a big way next season. And there's still one series left to play for Planet. This is not the last time we'll see AcidFly. He will, of course, play against Reboot in their next matchup.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention how great Percent did on this ace match here, really nullifying whatever AcidFly could have tried to do with taking the greedier lines, because it was Percent's first ever ace match showing, and he was able to find so many clutch blocks there that pretty much made Acid Fly force into this line straight behind Percent the whole entire time. It just really felt like Percent had a handle, a control over the whole game from start to finish.
Yeah, these players play these tracks so much that there's a standard way to approach the track. It's kind of like the ghost method, where you're playing against the best racers and you're following the ghost and you're learning from other players. And so he knows exactly what Acid Fly, those risky calls I was talking about, taking some of those aggressive inners on those corners. He knows when he's going to do that. And when he was successful at doing that, he blocked extremely well. He's always watching his rear while also racing at that speed. Like, this is the highest level of kart rider. These are teams now 1-5, 2-5 as a final standings. So it looks like these are some of our weaker teams, right? In terms of results, they are. But you see the level of play on these two guys, and you know there's even stronger players out there. It just makes you feel like, man, this game is quite intense. It is a very, very difficult game. There's a lot of pressure on these players. But this is just our first team match of the night. We'll have our second after a short break, so stay tuned.